twitter.com/@thenaturedc. Subscribe today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got the fellas in the building, man. We're gonna talk this NBA draft lottery, man. We got everybody in the building. You know, we got ETA Money Row in the building. You know, we got Big Son in the building. You know, we got everybody here, man. We got
I'm
the
Sam
whole
Vito,
crew here,
man,
man.
live and
So
uncut, man. We in
everybody
here.
introduce themselves and let everybody know what's going on.
Bum Sound Vito, man, big vet on the team. You already know, here to get my gracious and lovely opinion. First and foremost, man, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Love all of the fans. Like and subscribe, comment when you can. Y'all can talk as much trash as we do, but just know we bringing the facts to back them up. Get in.
Yes,
Indeed,
sir. Yes,
indeed.
sir. It's your boy Big Son in the building. You already know what it is. I'm going to say something wild. I'm going to say something foul, but at the end of the day, I love you. Know that. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. ETA Row in the building. You know what I'm saying? Ready for this good draft thing. Try to bring you some truth and some realness to the table. You know, yeah. Hey, it's a new year for everybody. It's a new year for the fans. It's a new year for us. You know, we just trying to keep y'all caught up on it from the very beginning. That's all.
Okay. So, I mean,
I go.
I'm not gonna go off the jump, man. I know
I'm
guys
gonna
got
go.
something to say.
I got it. I got it.
Hey, but I'm gonna
Welcome.
say this, P, before you even start. I'm gonna say this right
We
now.
got feedback somewhere, fellas. Somebody got feedback.
Yes, sir. Good job.
Right now, I would say the question before you even kick it off or anything like that. The question is the NBA lottery a good thing or a bad thing? So I want
This
to get
year,
everybody reactions for that before, and then we can go into details. So is the NBA lottery a good thing or a bad thing?
is bad. The NFL seems to have gotten this right. I do understand the notion of tanking because it has happened in basketball probably more than once, more than we like. But let's be honest, outside of coaching, there are some teams that are just far outmatched over some other teams. That is the direction that those teams decide to go in. And if you're stacking draft picks thinking that that's going to change your team, you show me somewhere in history where trying to wait for the number one pick to come out purposely is going to get you a ring and it works for you, then we'll have an argument to go with. Other than that, I think it's a competitive league, and sometimes the worst team needs that help. Sometimes the pick is not going to be to pick a player. Sometimes it's to give that pick to another team and put yourself in position to maybe win now or have some other situations that may go on after that. So to answer your question shortly, for myself, I say no, it is not working, and I don't like it.
What you think about? What you think about that, Big Son? What you think? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? You're on mute, Big Son. I need you to unmute for me.
Yeah, I took my pitch off. I was a little excited to get to this. Honestly, can I change the saying from bad to horrific? Like, I mean, what is it going to take around here in Washington? Okay, we're getting a new stadium, so I'm like, okay, that's all they need is that stadium over there. You know what I'm saying? They don't need nothing else. No, we need a legitimate basketball team. Like Vito stated last season, Vito said the Wizards game is nothing but a hookup with you and your homies or date night with you and the lady. You go see a good team play. You're not going there to see the Wizards. I'm a Wizards fan. Matter of fact, I'm a Bullets fan. Okay,
Big
that's
Sam,
how
real quick, not
deep
to
I
cut
am
you
with
off,
it.
just to add with you, you know how you would take a business meeting somewhere, you might need a suite at a basketball game. You know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
little loud. You know, what I'm saying? At a Wizards game, you can have a business meeting in regular seats. You can hear everything. You can go over notes and all of that. It wouldn't be no crowd noise for you to be bothered.
That's right.
Yeah.
No excitement except maybe halftime. Somebody shoot the half court shot and actually make it. You know, that's the most excitement at a Wizards game now. So to me, it is horrific. They need to fix it. There's no way this team has been this bad this many years, and you guys do not sit them in the top 3 seat. Sorry,
Okay.
not
Bro,
sorry.
Is the NBA draft lottery a good thing or a bad thing?
I honestly, I'm a Bulls fan, right? So, and of course, y'all know I root for the Wizards. That's the home team. I'm always gonna pull for them. But I'm a Bulls fan, right? Grew up in the Jordan era, whatever, right? And so I know for a fact that back then, what we had today, the Bulls didn't end up with any top 10 picks, right? During that Jordan era, right? You know, they were winners every year. They never ended up with the top 10 pick. The only way the Bulls got better was they had to go through trading. That's you got Rodman, that's how you, or like a thing like Kukoc, where you got somebody overseas that you might want. But ultimately, or Ron Harper, whatever additions you want to talk about, that did not come from the draft, right? Championship teams, and this is just my philosophy, is Len Bias even going to the Celtics was wrong. Tim Duncan going to the Spurs was wrong. All of these different scenarios in the end, you only have this in the NBA. So, regardless, baseball, it don't matter what sport you take, you only have those scenarios in the NBA. So it's no way I can sit here and say that it's right when I know that those scenarios, Larry Bird, Len Bias, if anybody knows who Len Bias is, he was drafted by the Celtics. The Celtics were in the championship a year before that. And if you know who Len Bias was with that Celtic team, I'm sorry,
They would have won 10 more championships.
bruh.
Larry with a
So
bad back could have took a break and still just collected rings. And he probably would have just to get past Bill Russell.
see, and if you look at the San Antonio Spurs when they got Tim Duncan, you cannot. Nobody can say that the result of that doesn't show you that it's some sort of advantage there. It's some
It,
sort of advantage there. So
it,
I'm gonna say it's not good, you know, because you have these scenarios where these great teams are ended up
LeBron James falling to the Cavaliers. Let's be open real quick about it. Like, that wasn't just something that fell into their lap. That
right,
was
right.
that
It was
was some
orchestrated.
it feels
Hey,
orchestrated.
It looks to be
we going
orchestrated.
all right, hold on.
So,
We're gonna go into that later.
right, 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 right,
What
So
right. But yeah,
so
overall,
is
I'm
it
just gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I just don't. I just think it's not good. Right.
all right? In my opinion, I do think that it's not good. The reason I think it's not good mainly is because when you really break it down and you say the worst
you got
team
feedback again.
is going
Sorry,
to need
fellas.
the
Somebody.
worst team's going to need some help. Realistically, the worst team is going to need some help. And if the worst team needs help, then they should be able to get one of the best new players. And that's how you balance a league. I
I
think
mean,
that the lottery process, you're getting teams that are way too good to be getting the first pick, like everybody's been saying. It's a disadvantage, not an advantage to the league.
right, right.
So, in my opinion, no, it is not a good thing. But now, V, I'm gonna take the chains off, man. We're gonna let the fellas, have a little bit of say so. Let them go ahead and go in and do what they do.
Well, I like this to start with just agreeing with Ro and what he said as far as like trading. Like sometimes you don't necessarily get blessed with the best pick and everything like that, but trading. Let's use OKC as an example. OKC lost two, maybe three of the franchise's best players, and it may not ever be a chance to replace exactly what they had, but in doing so, they've set themselves up to have draft picks in almost every year over the next 5 or 6 years after that trade happened. They've ended up getting a very good player in SGA and a ton of good role players. Jalen Williams being one of my favorite over there. And those things were done via through trade. Sometimes you have to go through losing your best player, and through trade, they bought over Chris Paul and Paul George. It didn't necessarily work with Paul George, but what Chris Paul was successful in doing was going to the playoffs. So they didn't really lose anything via the trade, except for maybe the championship run. But they still kept the same grit that the franchise was brought up on, and they moved along after that loss and missed 1 year of the playoffs and got right back to it right after they got their sales restructured. That's a good franchise. That's good ownership. That's good management. Now, for the Wizards, in this sake right here, for the home team, this was a very, very disappointing blow. I am hurtful, even though I am a Miami Heat fan, and I have my reasons. I've told it on the show tons of times why I'm not a Wizards fan. I was a Bullets fan through in and throughout. But this is one of the reasons why it's hard to be a fan at home. The team didn't do anything here. The league did a disjustice here, a disservice to the Wizards The Wizards, which I did not know until a couple of days ago, actually watching the draft, our rookie class was the number one class in made three pointers this season. All right. Meaning that even though the coaching staff was not high, the development staff, which I talked about, was very good this year. They brought along some rookies and brought up some guys that played along with some veterans, and they didn't get the wins, but they got quality minutes, they got quality time. If you bring one of the three, you could have been the top two chance of winning, and you could have gotten the first three picks. If you got one, you get Cooper Flagg. You instantly bring fans to the Washington, D.C. area, which is already going to be filled with fans for the Washington Commanders slash the Redskins. All right.
Agreed.
It would be tons of sales there. It is a big market here. And because there's been no players here like that outside of when you bought John Wall, and there was success there, even with John Wall not getting developing a jumper, John Wall brought fans to the arena. John Wall sold seats in the arena. You brought Bradley Beal on, which was another good pick, even though he didn't turn out to what we would have wanted him to be. They had good times together, made it to the playoffs, had good runs. You sold seats. There's some other things that happened that didn't work out, but along most of the time, you had a pretty decent to okay team that had chances to be better. When you brought Paul Pierce along, which is a veteran, the team made strides that they didn't make before. So things like that could have worked here. I was also given an idea yesterday by one of my friends who has another podcast, and he stated that with the number one pick, you don't even have to pick Cooper Flag. You don't have to get forced into making that pick to try to make a change with the number one pick. And yes, it would have been exciting, but you, with Giannis being a possible free agent this summer, you could have used that pick to help Milwaukee move forward and bring in a big time player that would have immediately brought your fan base up and possibly made you a threat to be a playoff team, not only do something in the East with a former teammate of Chris Middleton, along with the other young players and Sar, who's a far better player defensively than Brooke Lopez and has developed a good jumper over the last 6 months, who could be a formidable player that's young in the East that doesn't have a lot of threatening pieces outside of maybe the Pacers, who are young and can make some moves too, but are possibly losing Miles Turner in the summer. So there's a lot of things that could have happened where you have an advantage to say, okay, now we got the number one pick. We don't have to rush into it. Or even if we want to go Cooper Flag, we've got a young team already. We add Cooper Flag to it. We can still bring fans to the area because guess what we just did in football with a young player? Change the entire organization. You bring in a coach who knows how to coach this kid who was dogging NBA veterans in the Olympic Games in the practices for it. You
Yes,
change the
sir.
entire culture over here and the nature of it. If you bring Dylan Harper, who's the son of Ron Harper, who can boogie at the one. And I said that the Wizards need a true point guard. Bub is good, but if he has a true one with him, Bub can run that two guard really, really good. And if he can run the one and Dylan run the two, Dylan can create his own shot from every part of the floor. He is really, really good. On three, if you add Ace Bailey and a 6'7" player who stands up and puts his hands up and is 8'11", 8'11" at 6'7.5", averaged the same amount of blocks as Cooper Flagg in college this season, which was almost 4 a game. These guys were getting after it. You add to the defense that the Wizards already have, which they were not bad at this year. They had problems with getting scores, getting buckets. Ace Bailey has a mid range. He can get to the basket. He can attack the basket. He can pass the ball. There are things that those three guys can do that some of the other guys are going to have to work on other areas, but those guys almost have no weaknesses, at least right now, other than individual matchups in the league. And any of those three players immediately bring fan base to the Wizards. The number 6 pick, what you're going to have to do is hope that that development staff hits it. And I'm talking about hits it from the day that the season starts. It can't be a rookie that comes off the bench. You've got to hit it with the sixth guy right off the break as if he was the number one pick. And that's very hard to do in a class where if you weren't paying attention to college basketball and if you don't know how the NBA is working now, the Wizards may be one or two people, I mean, one or two picks outside of that. Now, maybe they can trade something from that 6th pick into the top three. but that's going to be really hard to do when you don't have a lot of pieces to give up right now. Now to the draft, and I'll be really quick with this. Completely rigged yesterday. What happened with the Mavericks is on the owner. Luca was shocked about that trade. LeBron, which is usually involved with most trades, didn't even have no idea that was happening. AD is shocked by the trade. You don't reward them. I don't care what you feel, Adam Silver. This is horrible. This looks horrible. This feels horrible. Everyone knows it's bad. And in a year when you all need to renew this TV contract, which I believe you all did for $4 billion, you did it in all of our faces, and this sucks. This sucks. I said this earlier when we were talking about the Shador Sanders stuff. I said this is why this can happen in basketball with Bronny. No disrespect to LeBron James, but that can happen in basketball. It does not happen in football. It doesn't, bro. It doesn't. I'm not saying that other legends kids don't get drafted. The media is too much. These are billionaire owners. They don't want to deal with the circus that's surrounded by all of that. In the NFL, you can't hide that the same way you can hide it in the NBA. This was bad. It was a horrible watch. It was badly timed. It wasn't on time. I don't understand the purpose of you having more percentage than anybody else. And what happened? What I thought happened back in the day. Maybe I have to go research this again. But what happened, you guys, yesterday? I don't know if you watched it, but now how they pick the teams is not one ball pop up and that's the team that's selected. It's now over 1,010 combinations of numbers, and those numbers have to come up in order of four for them to select them within 20-second intervals for them to decide what team that number represents. So it's like
That
the
is just
lottery.
retarded.
Say your number is 4105. And
Yeah,
it
that's way
represents
too complicated.
exactly. It
That's
doesn't make
way too
any sense. And
complicated.
guess what? You
They
didn't
cheat.
show this list of numbers, so none of us know what that is.
Yeah, that's because they cheat. They need to do it like the DC lottery. Back in the day, they used to come on channel 50. Back in the day, where the
With the
balls come up, the
teams
thing is right
with the
there.
with the picture of the logo of the team on there.
Yep.
The team with the most percentage should have the least amount of balls.
Yep.
The team with the least amount of percentage should have the most amount of balls.
Yep.
You shake them up and let them come out.
That's it.
It's simple.
That's it.
I don't
They
know
can't even
what-
do the
I
lottery
watched
without
it.
cheating.
I
They
watched
can't
it
even
and I
do
was
the
like, wait a
daggone
minute.
lottery
They
without
just
cheating.
they picked 12 for number one, and the 12th team wasn't the number 14 team. But what happened? What I'm missing it. What happened? I watched three more numbers come up, and then they said the Dallas Mavericks have the number one pick. Wait a minute, what the hell did I just? Whoa! So they just picked four numbers, and then the Mavericks. How did that happen? They picked four more numbers, and then the Spurs. Wait a minute. So four numbers equal one team? Yes, the combination of numbers equal a certain numeric order that we all have randomly, and that's you know what? I don't buy it, and I don't like it, and I
Lies.
don't like it at all. And this was bad. The tournament was bad. The slam dunk contest, bad. The All-Star game
I'ma chime in
concept,
too.
bad.
Let me get
The
next
playoffs
point.
right now, pretty good. But which I tried to put together for it to go, it all funked up. I told y'all that. I said to watch the Lakers don't go to the championship. I said the Lakers and the Celtics, the most watched. I said the Lakers and the Celtics are not gonna make the finals. They're not gonna make the finals. They're not gonna make the finals. They can't do it. It's not. It can't go like that because it is not. We can't sell it like that. Then there's other things happening behind the scenes with the
Not
foreign
to mention
players
the
going to
Vegas
the bigger
money.
markets. Yes, that's what I said. Not to mention that. That's always going to be there. But moving the foreigner, Giannis getting ready to be a free agent. They've got to get him out of Milwaukee. The NBA is losing money. It's losing viewership. They've got to move these players to bigger markets. So Cooper couldn't go to Utah. I'm sorry. He couldn't go to Utah, but he could have went to the Wizards. He doesn't go to the Wizards because maybe they don't have the coach here. Maybe they don't have the arena with the whole we're trying to move and then they won't let us move. Maybe it's some other stuff with that. Maybe badly ran by Leon.
Maybe they don't trust Ted Leonsis.
I disagree.
I say that.
I disagree.
Let me say they don't trust Ted Leonsis.
AV.
Yes.
I disagree. I think he could have went to Utah. You've had star
That's true though.
players
You do
in
got a good
Utah.
market there. You got a good market with Karl Malone and Jeff Hornacek.
You
They
have
built
had star
No.
players.
Okay,
That
so
was
go
the
back
that
and
was
look when
the
Donovan Mitchell did it. That's what I
But
said.
to
early
Vito's point, he's
2000s.
not
I
a
said
big enough
Donovan
market
Mitchell.
share
I
for
said
that type
Donovan
of a
Mitchell.
player. To
Remember
Vito's
Donovan
point.
Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is making more, selling more in
Yes.
Cleveland than he was in Utah. And Cleveland's a small market.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like Utah's not a big market.
They don't have a market cap.
It would be just like Cooper going to Utah is fine. They have the market for Cooper, but that you want to sell Cooper to the NBA. Dallas was a good. Luka was already an example, and Nowitzki is already an example. Steve Nash is an example. Michael Finley is an example that Dallas is a sellable market. You put Cooper Flagg there, you resell the same thing that you just finished selling all over again.
They lost a lot. They lost a lot of fans because Luka left because of the way it went down.
Yeah, and
that was
and
the
they needed to
NBA's
replace
way
that.
of putting that
But
market back together.
That sucks. No, that sucks. Y'all gotta figure that out. Your owner is also the one that traded the player. Your
That's
owner
what I said.
gotta be
they
responsible
gotta live
for that
with
too.
the results of
How
what
the
they
NBA
did.
reward you for making a trade that your fans turned on you after you made? What you thought they was gonna be happy that you made that trade?
I'm with
You
Vito.
made a bad move and your team ain't like it. That's like them giving Josh Hurst a Super Bowl because the Redskin fans is mad that he lost to Philly. Let's give him a Super Bowl so that the Redskin fans are now happy because the
they
Philly
do
fans
that
got on
though, Vito. We know they do that, right? They do
sucks,
that,
bro. I would be mad about that too. If we don't deserve it, I'm gonna feel some kind. I'm gonna be happy because I'm a fan, but I'm gonna feel some kind of way about that too, bro.
And that's
not real
that's where I'm
sports.
going with it.
That's the whole thing to me. It's not real sports, and I'd rather watch UFC, bro. I'd rather watch something that I know that you can't fake it. You can't. This submission hold that he put him in, he really tapped out. He didn't fake the tap out. He got out. That nose that got broke, his eye socket is hanging out. It's really hanging out. It really happened. That's why boxing is losing in some way, because you get something that's real and you start recognizing that they're kind of commercializing something. I'll say that. I'll use that word. I'll say they're commercializing it. And by doing that, you take away the nature. The NBA to me in the last 2 seasons were really soft, bro. They were really, really soft. I watched a lot of American players, even LeBron. I even give it, and I don't necessarily am the biggest fan of him, but I even watched him get beat up a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I watched Luka, who I used to complain about heavily, get away with tons of fouling and getting fouled the least in the whistleblowing. And a lot of the foreigners, Jokic, who are not in shape, who I do not disrespect their talent. They are supremely talent, like next level talent. But I feel like a lot of the players that are American, that some of us know, some of us may have heard of before, that were talented, that weren't in shape, i.e., let me say one of my favorite Duke alum, Zion Williamson, who does not get enough burn, who dogs LeBron James in the playoffs and during the season every time. And every time he goes on LeBron, he gets hurt mysteriously and he can't play for 20-something games. And then New Orleans is like he's overweight. Well, how come when he's on the floor, he seems to be the most efficient player in the entire NBA? It's percentage wise. We can all go look this up. He is the highest percentage field goal player when he is playing. When he's not, he's just not on the floor. He's not on the floor because he threatens something. And I'm not sure what that is because people think I'm crazy for that. But for whatever the reason is, he's out of shape when he's there. But everybody that leaves New Orleans somehow is able to play wherever they are. If I was the Wizards, that number 6 pick goes to get someone like Zion.
Yeah, I agree. Now, can I chime in?
Yes, by all means. I'm done. Yeah,
I'm glad Vito made a lot of the points.
Everybody's gonna get a chance. Everybody's gonna get a chance to get their issue off.
I was just superbly heated. I needed to let that out.
Yeah.
No. I'm glad you made the point you made, because that kind of drives right into my point. And I was going to talk about this on our other show, the Redskins show. But hey, we talking about it, and I'm glad you brought it up. This rigged thing, when you have a rigged game, it does so much negative to just everything about the sport, the gambling, the just everything that really drives the morale of the sport. The whole thing is based on a real game. We don't want to see a fake entertainment WWE setup sort of a thing. Nobody wants to bet their money on that. We want to bet our money on these guys are better than these guys. I've watched every game that these guys have played over the last two seasons. These guys are better than these guys. I know it. I did my homework. You should be rewarded for that. You can't be rewarded for that when people are cheating. So to drive, and that's just not across in basketball. This is across all sports. So that goes into my next point. And this is how the morale gets crushed. And I'm about to tell y'all a prime example. This week, we had Josh Harris and Muriel Bowser sit there and sit in front of those fans and say, hey, y'all, we moving back to DC. Y'all, it's the greatest thing ever. They got these plans to build this stadium. They got all this stuff going on. I mean, it smells really, really good, right? I mean, and the thing is, this is and y'all gonna hear my problem with it. They know that the DC fan base is greatly sensitive to them moving back to DC, just like they know the DC fan base is greatly sensitive to the name Redskins. We want it back. They know this. Just like they know we wanted the team back in the city. They know this, right? So what they're doing is, and I'm gonna tell y'all, this is just going, and I haven't even brought this up. I think I might have brought it up to Leo, maybe. But anyway, what they did was they said, look, y'all, we building this new stadium, y'all, we planning on moving back. Now, mind you, the DC Council hasn't even approved this yet, right? So it's nothing set in stone. But I go on my website yesterday, and, you know, they send out offers. We get all these different offers. Do y'all know that they sent me an offer to buy seats in the new stadium? The RFK, the new stadium they going to build, they've already selling seats, and the DC Council ain't even approved it yet. But do you know why? Do y'all know why this is they're doing this? Because they don't have no money. They don't have no money. This whole thing about the team moving back to the city was really just a plot and a ploy to get the fans basically to pay for the stadium in advance.
Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I say 800 something million? You can say 2.7 billion. That's cool. What part do we got to put up? 800 and something million.
No, that's just taxpayer money, though. V, hold up. I'm talking about the advance money.
Of the national stadium, though.
Right, but think about what I'm saying. The advance money that the fans spend on the tickets before the stadium is built,
right? That's profit.
It's going to pay for the stadium. So for real, the fans that buy those advance tickets should own part of the team. To be honest,
should have some type of
own part of the stadium because they're building the stadium. Their funds are going to be used to build the stadium.
That would be part of the 2.7 that the owner's supposed to be.
You see what I'm saying? Ah, you get me now. Exactly. They.
Hey, man, we're going away from.
No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. It is all a plot and a ploy on the fans' emotions. And that's the same thing this draft was for the Maverick fans who just lost Luka. It is a money grab. And it's costing a team like the Wizards, who deserve that pick, who have been bad for the last 5 years, their future. They are picking in the spot the Mavericks should be picking in. So to Vito's original point, all of this setup stuff, who wants to participate in that? You mind? I'd rather watch UFC.
Bro, I give you one more, bro, and I promise I apologize for butting in, but I give you one more, and I'm gonna make this spin your head real quick. Does this not make Josh Harris or the Eagles now win twice because they just jumped ahead of the Wizards too? They're third.
Yep. See? How did the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey end up over the Wizards?
And Paul George.
Even
though he sucked this year, but he still got Paul George. They still have a tradable piece.
I mean, come on now.
With the 3rd round pick and a tradable piece.
Come on now. They are robbing. This is why the bad teams stay bad in the NBA. Whereas though in the NFL, you will have a Redskins, you will have a Lions, you will have periodically every year the Browns last year with Joe Flacco took their team to the playoffs. Why? Because over the years they was able to draft a Miles Garrett, they was able to draft a
Denzel Ward,
they was able to draft those types of players over the years, so that even if they wasn't great, they were able to be good and be at least respectable. In the NBA, you have teams who are not the Spurs. Even when you gave them Wemby. What y'all do? Because y'all knew Wemby was going to win Defensive Player of the Year. You sat him down to save all the betting money for the rest of the year.
Not only that, though, they didn't go to the playoffs. What you thought was going to be great this year, after the first year was going to go to the playoffs, unlike all of the unicorn stuff you gave him, he's just one player, and even he doesn't want to seem to take over a game, like score 40 points a night or something like that. So now you need to give him the number 2 pick and help.
Come on now.
The 7'4", can do everything. Leads the league in 3-pointers this young in his career at over 200, and he needs help at the number 2 pick. He couldn't have got better with the number 6, but they got the rookie of the year, Stephon Castle. You mean to tell me that they needed the extra pick at number 2 in that market? Okay, great. That's great. I guess what? Because they lost Pop, because Popovich retired as a coach.
It's just getting to be too much setup stuff, man. Y'all gotta have parity. But go ahead, point. Yeah, that was just my point. Just hey, look, that y'all need parity. All this setup stuff gonna kill your morale. You have a business to sell at the end of the day, and people don't want fake. I don't even care if it's fake Jordans,
That's what I said. It's a business.
Fake shirts, fake
the
hats.
Carolina Panthers being good in the NFL helps the NFL's product. I ain't saying they got to win the Super Bowl, that you got to force that or nothing like that, but them being a feasible opponent makes this a sellable product. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, come on, bro. As bad as Daniel Jones looked, the Giants had a product that they still had to put on the field. You know what I'm saying? Now, last year it looked really, really, really bad, but that's the worst that they let that look. Like, even with as bad as I felt like Daniel Jones was, or we all may have thought Daniel Jones was, they've been a playoff team with him. Like, they still made strides with it. They still had a top 10 defense. Like, there was still something sellable about the team. After the Panthers, like the last bit of the couple of games, they were compatible last year. They competed in a lot of games last year, the Panthers did. Now, the year before that, you look at it and say, oh, yeah, this ain't going to work out. The way the season started, oh, yeah, they're one of the worst teams again. But you saw some growth in the team. You expect their fan base has something to expect this season coming up. Maybe not playoff run, but they expect that they're going to be better than what they were last year. Literally, I just told Leo right before we got live that the report from ESPN suggests that the report from ESPN suggests that we are going to have the same type of season we had again next year, and that we're just going to be getting ready for next year's big draft lottery, which we probably can get done the same way we got done this year. Like, what are we waiting for next year? Never mind. Go ahead, Leo.
Big Son, you ready, or you want me to go next? All right, I'm gonna take that as
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you ready?
My sentiments is I'm just quite frankly tired of the BS. Well, every aspect of all these entertainments, especially with the NBA. Like Rose said, nowhere else do you find this. Do you find this type of nonsense that goes on? And to know that people can visibly see, you picking up four picks and then this is the pick. Like, come on, bro. We're not kindergartners. We're not gonna sit up here and act like we're watching Pee Wee Herman Worlds or something, wild like that. But this is not that. This is supposed to be reality. Like Rose say, people are betting their hard-earned money on this stuff. And it's ridiculous for y'all to think that somebody is still going to play by that code, of whitewash. I'm going to say it. You're not going to whitewash everything. Some things have to be clear cut. Like Vito say, I want to see something. Hey, if I see right there, the man eye hanging in UFC, I know it's eye hanging. It's supposed to be the same thing here. Y'all can't be setting up all these markets getting on. You don't know what they putting up. You don't know what people are losing. Y'all people, y'all do stuff and don't realize the damage, the collateral damage that you cause. How y'all know when y'all just did that pick right there, you ain't called somebody their house? Because y'all want to be funny and give Dallas something back that they lost. That they vehemently gave it away. How can we as a society sit back and say, oh, that was a great thing? Nah, people are starting to see things for what they are, and we're going to speak on them. That was fecal matter at its highest form. And I'm done.
Yeah, so my take on it is that I'm pretty upset as a Washington Wizards fan, to be 100. I'm completely upset, actually. This is a system that It's not working. It doesn't make a fair NBA, and it doesn't create a good product, in my opinion. You know, you got the team that deserves the most. You know what I'm saying? The team that deserves the most, the team that is completely dominant at certain times. You have them continuously win, and then you have them trade a good player. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, the Dallas Mavericks a year removed. They was in the finals last year. Y'all do understand this? You know, like they was in the NBA finals last year. So they went from being one of the best teams in the league to barely missing the playoffs to getting the number one pick in the draft. This doesn't make any sense. You know, this is why if you look at my little caption under my name, it says help me understand, because I don't understand how a team like the Dallas Mavericks was in this year is not even over yet. This is the NBA playoffs right now. Last year, the Dallas Mavericks was representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. They was the best team in the West. The Western Conference Finals champion is now have the number one pick 1 year removed. If this isn't a show that because they traded Luka, they got that number one pick. I mean, this is, you know, and then like V said, this shows that because they shut Wemby down, they got the number 2 pick. So this is like, to me, it's looking like it's rigged. It's looking like it's willing and dealing. You know, they shut Embiid down. You know what I mean? So look at that as well. So I don't like this. I know we got the number 2 pick last year, but I really, really, really do not like this. I think that this is trash. I think that this is not the way that things are supposed to be. I really think that, just to be honest, man, this is just horrible, in my opinion. I don't know why they think that that was okay, but it's not. It's really not. You know, when I think about what's going on in sports, right? It should be an equal opportunity for each team. It should be a team that says, hey, we were bad last year, but at least we get an early pick so we can be better. The lottery should not be filled with teams that almost made the playoffs. You know, to what V said, you know, maybe the first 1 to 4 teams, maybe that can be a lottery. Maybe the worst 5 teams in the league make it go into a lottery. But all of the 13, 14, come on, they don't belong there. Put them in the draft right where they belong, because they were a decent team, but at the same time, they just weren't where they should be. I think maybe if you, and I really think that, like, let's say if you got like the worst team in the league, right? You got 3 teams that got the same worst record. Yeah, you do a lottery for that. There's no way that Boston should be in the lottery next year if they don't go to the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? So y'all gotta follow me when I'm saying this, because this is like horrible. This is bad. This is really, really bad for the NBA. Not just because I'm a Wizards fan, but because the NBA got to be a good product, and to sustain a good product, you need to show some form of fairity. It's got to be fair. I mean, fairness, excuse me. You got to show some form of fairness. It's got to be fair somewhere along the line, and it's not fair. This isn't fair. This doesn't even appear to halfway be fair, you know? So I'm really upset after watching this. I'm sitting there like, how are we number 6? Number 6 is my favorite number, and I'm not happy about being number 6. And I'm dead serious. 6 been my favorite number since I was a child, since I was a kid, elementary school. 30 plus years of number 6 being my favorite number, and I'm not happy to see the Wizards with a number 6. Because let's be real, we were one of the worst teams in the league. I was saying, oh yeah, we should be tanking for Cooper. But seeing 14 other teams that shouldn't even have been in the lottery, and then seeing that the Mavericks somehow magically got it, I mean, it's disgraceful. It's nasty. I'm personally upset. I know my team got a lot better this year, in my opinion, because I think that the kids that we drafted last year, we had a really good draft. And I'm not saying that we won't have a good draft this year. I feel like Sarr was a really great draft pick. I feel like Keyshawn George is an absolute meat beast. And I think that I think Bud Carrington is a solid player. And then even the year before with Bilal Coulibaly, I think that we have been drafting good draft picks over the last couple of years that at least have the potential to look like they're developing in the right area, you know? So I think we got a good thing going with the draft, but this is disgraceful. Like, the NBA should be ashamed of themselves. Like, they should be really ashamed of themselves. You know.
What was Dallas's percentage? Wasn't it like 1.78 or something like that?
I do not have the percentages.
Big Son had it up. I think it's on Big Son's screen.
Yeah, Big Son got it up. Let me see if I can see it. Let me see if I can see it. Hold on. I can't tell you that. I can tell you they were under 7%. That's what I can say. Under 7.5%. Because Big Son had to go so under 7.5%. That's where they were at. They were, and the Wizards were 14%.
What was the Maverick?
I'm not sure. I'm about to go look it up now. Let me give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now because I would like to see that. But it was on Big Son's screen.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, yeah, what was it, Big Son?
What percentage y'all
The
looking for?
Mavericks.
The Mavs. Hold on, I gotta look at the whole picture real quick.
What'd you say?
They were in the 11th spot, and their percentage was 1.82%.
Hey, if that's not rigged, I don't know what is.
Yeah, don't get no more rigged than that, man. It's an utter disgrace to the face of the NBA, and they need to change this around and change it quick because that's not a good product. That's a very porous product in my eyes that I don't feel I will bet no money on no time soon.
So, do you feel like that? I mean, we've been talking about it. So, I guess we need to go around with the question. Do we all feel like it may be rigged?
100%. I mean, you can go back to what Ro was saying as far back to Timmy. And that's a long time now, since Tim Duncan was drafted.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go with the AOK and say, yes, I do believe it's rigged.
Wow.
I say there's no way it's not rigged.
Wow. Yeah, that's trash. That's trash right there. That's trash. Whew. So, I got a question. It looks like,
and honestly though, let me chime in right quick. It is a lot of fans calling for an investigation into Adam Silver based on this draft, because a lot of fans feel like their teams were cheated. Their teams was cheated out of a potential pick that they should have had, especially the teams with the worst record in the league. A lot of those fans are complaining. Who had the worst record in the league? Was it the Spurs? Whoever had the worst record in the league, a lot of those fans are complaining, saying, "Hey, we want Adam Silver investigated because this is clear." So I think that's just something to just keep an eye out on.
I agree. I agree 1,000,000%. I couldn't agree more. Adam Silver, I mean, I feel like the whole league at this point, when do the fans get to feel like they're getting a fair product? You know? When do we get to get a product that we feel like is the right product, is a fair product, is where we're getting quality, where we're not getting gypped out of what, because not only are we going to these games, right? I want to make sure I turn on the screen for this one. Now, not only are we going to these games, okay? We're going to these games, we're spending money going for the tickets, we're spending money for the transportation going to the game. Then after spending money, well, you know what, my bad, I messed that up. I said it right, tickets, and then we're going transportation to the game. Then we're going to spend in concessions at the game. That's not including the merchandise we might have bought to wear to the game. And that's just going to one game. Let's say you don't go to the game. Let's say you just buy merch at home and you spend your time. That's time that you could be spending doing anything else. You know what I mean? This is a large investment, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you break it down to years of investment, when you break it down into commitment to going to these games, throwing like parties for games and all of this, when you talk about the large amount of money that is invested into a franchise, a sports franchise, whatever it may be, whether it's your favorite football team, basketball team, whatever, and now you're getting gypped out of your fair opportunity because the league has a design that they want to go with. Like Rose implemented earlier today, excuse me, I said yesterday, like he said earlier today, he said WWE, and I think that's what that is. It's no longer sports, it's sports entertainment, which is not real sports. Like V said, I'd rather see the UFC where I know somebody gonna get knocked out or I know somebody gonna get submitted, but it don't look fake. Even if the guy that's in there is nowhere near as good as the other guy, somebody's really getting choked out. And guess what? If the better guy is not on his game that night, the lesser guy, he gonna choke him out. He gonna submit him. He gonna take that legacy away from him. I mean, I've seen some of the best fall in the UFC. When you talk about Conor McGregor, he was at the top of his. Izzy Adesanya. These top dogs that took them L's at the height of their career because it's real matchmaking. And so this isn't real matchmaking. This is like a fairy tale, fictionary, like, oh man, this is trash. Yeah, I don't want to keep ranting though, man, because I can go on and on about this, man. I can go another 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 hours about this. This is a subject I think I can go on and on about. I do have some questions though. All right. And anybody can answer in any, space. So if we feel like it's rigged, right? Or if we feel like, and I don't want to just keep saying it's rigged, if we feel like it's something fishy about it, right? Something that's potentially unfair about the game. Do you boycott if you are one of those teams?
In all fair and honesty, on our side of the ball, it's really never for us to boycott. Like I said earlier, the Wizards game was nothing but a hookup with the fellas or a date night with your lady. And like Vito say, a business meeting. It's very quiet in there. You can hear each other. There's no real excitement going on at the Capital One Arena. So and that's how they want to keep it, obviously, with this show that they pulled off last night.
Oh man, I can't disagree with that. Okay. Another question. If you are Cooper Flagg, you're going to Dallas. You know you're going to Dallas now. You know you're going. You know you're playing with. Do you think that you can be the rookie of the year on that team? Because it's not your team. You know, back in the day, a lot of the players, they get drafted to their own team. So that's not going to be Cooper Flagg's team. Not right away. I mean, you got Kyrie Irving. You got Anthony Davis, you know, already there. I don't know. But
I think,
you know,
I personally think that, you know, even even though even though it's gone that way, you know, um, it's up it's up to it's up to the powers at B, to keep everything at bay. If they can't do that, it's a problem.
okay. I was just laughing at V's caption. It says, "What the hell? The NBA draft stinks." Hey man, hey, you gotta love that, man. You gotta love that. Hey, so I'm not gonna hold everybody too long, man, because guess what? We already been here almost an hour. Just did a quick live for you people. Um, I do want to ask the fellas, they got anything to say? I mean, about anything in the sports world or anything like that. We have a game in Spain, and we have a game in Spain against the Dolphins, November 16th, the Washington football team. So, that's some new news that broke. The Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles will be at the season opener. That's going to be a season opener for the NFL. But guys, anybody got anything to say? Anything to get off their chest before, we let these people get back to their daily routine?
No, I don't got nothing to say. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all already know this. Till we tune in next time with Big Son.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, man. It's ETA Row, you know what I'm saying, in the building for sure. Again, like for y'all to tune in. Make sure y'all tune in to the other shows coming up. And throughout the season, Redskins coming up, man. Y'all know what we do. Score the fight. Organized betting. Got some things going on. We're going to go 24 hours live with that for the betting stuff. So just make sure y'all stay tuned into the Nature Network. Signing out.
All right. So I'm going to do my sign out. So this was midday, man. This man for you. You know what I'm saying? We let you know about the NBA draft lottery process. We let y'all know what we thought. We gave y'all a very quick show. So definitely we're gonna let y'all get back. So I do want to give some announcements. Definitely Score the Fight will be coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in for sure. Score the Fight. And is that okay? So yeah, Score the Fight will be coming up. We will be releasing Score the Fight schedule. I want you to definitely tune in to the Monday shows, the Wednesday workhorses. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to continue to come rock in with us. Big Son No Shade will be coming up. Of course, organized betting. So I definitely want you guys to continue to rock with the Nature Network. We do have a lot more programming to come up for you guys. Of course, UFC. Score the Fight, and so we got a lot continue to keep rocking with you guys. So I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. This is Point B. I am signing off. I'm signing off for my man Uptown Vito as well. You know what I mean? And thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next time here live on the Nature Network.
YouTube/@TheNatureDC. Subscribe today.